Hello everybody, it's the Cauterizer here, and I'm back with another DC Universe online loadout guide with them tips and tricks coming at you. If you guys did see, I did post this video already with my electric DPS. I'm actually re-uploading it, and the reason is being thanks to somebody who viewed my videos. DCUO EarthL did let me know there was something I skipped over in the original upload of the video, so I'm going to go ahead and remake the video just because I want to make sure you guys are getting 100% all the information from my brain to you, so that way you guys can understand the mechanics of classes, how they work, and stuff like that. So essentially, what EarthL brought up to me was it's a glitch mechanic, and I'll explain the whole thing once we get there. But anyways, let's jump right into everything, guys. We're going to start off in the powers, taking the voltage tree first. You're going to be running Tesla Blast, Wired, Electroburst, Shockwave, Arc Lightning, Tesla Ball, rounded off with the Voltaic Bolt there. Onto the amperage tree, you're going to be taking Repulse, Attract, Circuit Breaker Supercharge, Electrostatic Bomb, and Electrocute, leaving you with 3 iconic powers left to spend in a Weapons Expert, Tactical Genius, and the last one can really go wherever you want it to. Either Nanoweave Armor, Powerful Resistance, or Wisdom of Solomon for that bonus power pool if you feel you need it. Mathematically, there's not a difference between Nanoweave Armor and Powerful Resistance. It just depends, do you want the defense or you want the health? And like I said, mathematically, they work out about the same, Powerful Resistance being a little stronger on lower tier, and Nanowave being a little better as you get higher tier, just because percentage scaling and stuff like that. Just gonna touch over the skills. I know I don't go over these often, but it kind of matters now, I guess. So anyways, going down on the fly, of course, gonna get your toggle fast move speed at level 9, but you always want to be grabbing these breakouts. Every roll, every power. What these are gonna do, this one is permanent stun resistance, permanent encase and root resistance, stun recovery, restraint recovery, and breakout mastery. What these 3 do here is whenever you use a breakout on either a stun, restraint, or breakout mastery being any of the other effects, it allows you to regenerate the power you spent on breaking out over time. So very essential to making sure you don't run out of power, because if you don't spec with these, even if you have an AM, I've noticed sometimes you'll still run out of power. Plus, this way when you do break out, if you don't have breakout mastery, you don't get the immunity to CC for a few seconds. That's sometimes pretty crucial for DPSing or anyone in general, really. Should always be grabbing those. Next, make sure you're grabbing all your critical attack damages and your critical attack chances in the tree. Essentially, all you have to do is put 4 points down the middle to unlock these tier of powers, and they're always going to be in the first row. Just depends on which weapon, if it's either crit damage or crit chance, but you want all of that before you worry about your might and precision. After you do that, you want to make sure you look at the second tier right here. As you can see, this one is precision, the 0 of 6s. You want to look at what trees have might in that point. And you want to focus on going down those trees first. Electric is a might DPS. If you're a precision DPS, then obviously you focus on the trees that have precision right here before you worry about the ones that have might. And then as you can see, I'm putting points into them and then going into might precision. Now do keep in mind the 0.6s versus the 0.3s. You get less, like when you spend a point on the 0.6s, your skill point isn't worth as much as if you were to spend it on a 0.3. Just the stat bonuses that you get from the 3.3s are greater per point than you get from the 6.6, you know, if that makes any sense. Anyways, we're going to go right into the loadout. Sorry for that little tangent. I just had a lot of people ask me questions about that stuff. So anyways, going right into it, Tesla Ball. This is pretty flashy DPS move. It's pretty much a 3-second hot. Fits the thematic of electricity very well. Or, not, excuse me, not a hot, but a dot. Damage over time. Electrified enemies will be taking more damage from this as well. Arc Lightning. This is our main ability to apply power interactions. It will electrify all of our enemies and will restore power after adding an electrocharge or while electrocute is active. Electrocharges, if you guys didn't know, is pretty much just another fancy word of saying a dot that certain powers apply. And I'll get to those powers when we get there, obviously. Okay, now Electrocute, this is that big thundercloud that you see. Electrified and polarized enemies take additional damage. Regenerates power after activating an electrocharge. Keep in mind, only after activating an electrocharge, not after Arc Lightning. However, you can still add an electrocharge, go Arc Lightning, and then get the power back from Electrocute because it still falls into that stanza where you already applied an electro charge, right? Okay, Wired, this is your standard DPS buff. It's going to give you might and crit chances. Don't worry about the PI on this one as much. Just take note, though, that it does allow you to electrify enemies. However, it only allows you to electrify the first enemy you hit once per cast. You can only electrify one enemy per cast, and it's a 12-second cooldown, I do believe. So you can't really swap Arc Lightning out and use Wired to electrify enemies. You're just going to lose DPS. So that's, if you guys were worrying about if you can wiggle Arc Lightning out of there, you really can't. Anyways, going down to Voltaic Bolt, I think this is the bread and butter of the power set. This really ties everything in all together. So essentially, this works like Harvest with nature, if you're familiar with that. Any enemies that are already previously electrified will be electrified again, meaning once an enemy is already electrified, you don't have to reuse Arc Lightning to electrify them again. Voltaic Bolt will just constantly keep refreshing the duration. Also, if an enemy is also electrified, excuse me, when you use this ability, it will add an electro charge to the target. And as I talked about before, the electro charge is simply a dot. That's all it is. Okay, and it's going to do a little bit of a small AoE burst damage when you hit it. So if enemies are tightly clumped, Voltaic Bolt will do pretty decent damage on top of itself. Also, the big thing about Voltaic Bolt, it increases the potency of any electrocharge effects on electrified enemies. Pretty much, if an enemy is electrified and they have a dot on them from either Voltaic Bolt or Electroburst, that dot will become more powerful. Alright, an Electroburst. This simply just stomps the ground. It's going to add an electro charge to everything around us. Nothing else really matters. It does regenerate power when activated after adding an electro charge or while Electrocute is active. Same thing with Voltaic Bolt. I know I didn't mention that. And same thing with Wired. Both, they all restore power after adding electro charge or while Electrocute's active. The only thing is, Electrocute only regenerates power when after an electro charge, because you can't really activate Electrocute on top of itself. So yeah, I do recommend having one-handed, by the way, for this, guys. The weapon mastery has been nerfed a couple patches ago if you weren't familiar, so weapon mastery isn't really that great unless you're like a support role to save power. They buffed a lot of the standard weapon combos, and one-handed just fits so perfectly with this loadout. It's so perfect. With the timing between Voltaic and Tesla. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the animations here. This is going to be your Tesla Ball. Again, that's your main DPS move that you're going to be used to clip. Right? Arc Lightning's pretty standard stuff. I'll go over here and show you that. It's going to jump around, hit all those targets. And you can see this effect right here. That means they are electrified. Cool. Alright. Electrocute is pretty standard. When an enemy is electrified, they'll pretty much take 2 ticks from this spell. They will take a double dot. Alright, and then you have Wired, standard DPS buff. That's what it looks like. Applies to your team members too, so it also, it's nice to have a support-ish DPS buff. There's a 50% might to the group, 10% critical weapon attack chance, and ability attack chance. Good shit, especially because we use our weapon and our abilities. Right? This is Voltaic Bolt. It's going to go ahead and big lightning bolt. Love that spell. And you'll see if the enemy is electrified and then I use it, he's going to go ahead and now he has an electro charge on him, which is that dot damage that you're seeing now. Okay. Let me go ahead and show you this now. So this is Electroburst. This is, again, all that's really for is it adds that dot. And you can see it's pretty much the same strength as the Voltaic Bolt. It doesn't stack itself. So essentially, what I missed on the old video, if you did see it, what DCUO EarthL let me know, and I don't know, he didn't really state it in the comment. You guys can obviously probably read it yourselves. But what he would let me know is that Electroburst actually can be added twice. And what I mean by that is if you look at Electroburst now, and I electrify him, if I do Voltaic Bolt, as that adds an electro charge, you can still see he's only taking 1 dot, but the dot is significantly larger. Essentially, all Voltaic Bolt did is it empowered the dots and combined them into 1 just to get some of the clutter off your screen. So instead of having 2, you have 1. Both Voltaic Bolt and Electroburst deal a total of 12 ticks of damage before they expire. What the glitch is after those 12 ticks of Electroburst's electro charge has happened, for some reason it allows you to reapply Electroburst after that. However, you can't do it more than twice. So it's not like an indefinite thing where if I wait for another 12 ticks, I can hit it again and buff it with Voltaic, which would essentially mean that DPS or electric DPS would have an infinite amount of DPS potential depending on how long the fight went. So I'll go ahead and show you guys now. You can see the damage is still pretty much there. We're gonna hit Electroburst again. You can see it ticking twice. Voltaic. Now it's 1 tick again, but you can see it's hitting significantly harder. And I figured out how the glitch works. He mentioned in the comments that you're supposed to hit Arc Lightning or something after. You don't have to do that. The glitch is completely based around the fact that Electroburst and Voltaic have 12 ticks of total damage. The game somehow doesn't register that via Voltaic bolting, so it thinks that the Electroburst tick falls off, and then you can reapply it after that. But as you can see now, he's obviously been ticking more than 12 times, and you're looking at me Electroburst him, and he's not taking the 2 ticks now, and the tick isn't getting any stronger. So it only stacks twice, and you can stack it again after the dot has ticked 12 times. That's how the glitch works. So it's kind of like Quantum's old time bomb where it had the 4 ticks. It is a glitch to abuse the increase of damage. However, you can't do it instantly. Most of the time ads are going to die before you get 12 ticks on them, but it's something to note to keep in mind for boss fights, etc, etc. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with how the rotation actually works now. So you're pretty much going to go in first. You're going to hit Electroburst to put the electro charge on him. You're going to Arc Lightning, which is then going to give you power back because you applied an electro charge with Electroburst. That's going to electrify everything with your Arc Lightning. Then you're going to use Electrocute, clip it with Wired, and then you're going to go ahead and finish it off with Voltaic Bolt to amplify and combine your dots. And then you're just going to do weapon combos switching between Tesla Ball, and then weapon combo Voltaic. So essentially, you're just going to repeat that. And then once an enemy is electrified and they have their dots on them, you never have to reapply any of your dots. Voltaic will maintain everything for you. The only thing you have uptime on is Electrocute and Wired, and they share the same cooldown, so that's pretty simple to manage. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start it. I'm going to be Electroburst, Arc Lightning, Electrocute, clip with Wired, hit a Voltaic Bolt, and we're going to do a weapon combo and clip with Tesla Ball, weapon combo, clip Voltaic, weapon combo, clip Tesla Ball, and this is how it literally looks. This is it. I'm going to go ahead and refresh Electrocute and Wired. I'm going to go ahead and hit backflip Tesla, backflip that. Let me go ahead and add another stomp because it's probably been 12 ticks. Oh yeah, definitely. And now you can see the numbers are hitting even harder. I kind of messed that up. I shouldn't have Voltaic there, but it's alright. Not the end of the world. Putting out some sizable deeps. Alright, let's just stomp one more time in case I missed the window. I'm not perfect on it. I just figured out the glitch right before remaking the video, so give me a little bit of a breathing room here. As you can see, you know, the damage is there. It's not a top tier power by any means, but it's not trash, and it's a really fun power. I love it. I'm really been enjoying myself on this power lately, and the healing is pretty great. I know it still has the power issues, but I feel with how the new raids are, if you want to go electric, it's great. The healing works really well and how the raids mechanics work, so I'm enjoying it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Comment, subscribe, let me know. Big shout out to DCUO EarthL. Thank you for bringing attention to me, the Electroburst stack glitch. Definitely a blessing to the community. You are, sir. Anyways, I'm your boy, the Cauterizer, and we out. Peace.